Good girl. Hello, welcome to the Holistic Horse Care Centre. My name's Cathy Tindall and I'm an equine behaviour and health therapist. A lot of what I do sees me going to owners' yards to help them understand why their horses don't load. Once we've got the understanding, we've got 3 easy steps that will help the horse get on the trailer time and time again. Because there's nothing worse than booking in for a competition that's miles away and knowing that you're not going to get there on time.
This video is aimed at helping you, the horse owner, to load your horse successfully every time. I train many awkward loaders to comply with their owner's wishes in 3 easy steps. Watch this video, rewind it, go and practice it, and then look again. It is a tool to help you achieve your goal, whether it is riding out with your friends or going to competitions.
So what's in it for your horse? Well, if you practice the preloading exercises, you'll help your horse to lower his stress levels and also make him more comfortable in front of the box and trailer. You'll also enhance your relationship and teach your horse new skills.
Let's meet the horses and their owners who will appear on this video, and later a happy horse and owner who I helped last year.
Hi Louisa, who have we got here?
Hi Cathy, this is Jack.
And how old is he?
He's 6 years old.
And how long have you had him?
I've had him since he was a yearling.
Okay, and has he always had a problem loading?
No, he was fine till he was 2-year-old, and then we had an accident. So since then he's been really difficult to box.
Okay, and how long did it take you to load him to get here today?
3 hours.
3 hours, boy, and how
Yeah.
did that leave you feeling?
Really, really upset because he was upset. And he gets very stressed when he gets on. So
This is just one of the ways horses prevent themselves from being loaded, or rather, one way that the horse is telling us that he is not comfortable about loading into a trailer or box. Let's meet our second horse.
Hi Anna, who have we got here?
Hi Cathy, this is Nickel.
And how old is he?
He's 12 years old,
And how long have you had him?
approximately 8 years.
So for that 8 years, has he always been a problem to load?
Intermittently, yes. Yeah, and more recently since we've had the new trailer.
And what does he do to not load?
There's always apprehension approaching the trailer, and then he'll plant his 2 feet on the ramp and will not go any further forward.
Okay, and how does that make you feel?
Extremely frustrated.
All right. And how long did it take you to get here?
It took me about an hour to load him today.
Load him.
And yeah, I mean you.
All right, so you'd like me to teach him to load,
Yeah.
let you load him so that you can be stress-free
Yes.
and have nice times out.
That would be absolutely perfect.
Okay, well come with me and let's see what we can do.
Thanks. Come on.
Let's now explore the reasons why our normal loving and compliant equine friend is saying no. He's putting his foot down. In fact, he's putting his feet down.
Stress is a large factor in loading your horse, both yours and his. Believe it or not, your horse will be talking to you every step of the way. It is up to you, his handler, to read his signals and work with him. So what are we looking for? Horse language is many-faceted and is mainly made up from body language. So we will look at his eyes. How are they? Are they soft and fluid, tight and small, showing the whites of the eye? Some horses will blank out and stare into the distance when they are severely stressed. His ears, what position are they in? Are they forward and flickering, or thinking about what's behind him and moving backwards? His muzzle, is it loose with no wrinkles, or is it tight with many wrinkles between bottom of nostril and top of lip? His nostrils may be nice and loose and open, or tightly held with a defined ridge around them. Also notice his breathing. Is it relaxed and regular, or is it shallow and held?
All these things you should notice and piece together like a jigsaw puzzle. This will tell you what your horse is thinking and how he's feeling.
Your horse may never have loaded easily or has just started to become awkward. Firstly, have a look to see if he is in any pain. Things like a sore back, teeth or feet could easily influence his decision to load. Then ascertain if he really knows what you are asking. Has he had a bad experience? Could he be claustrophobic? Or perhaps he is young and inexperienced.
come on.
Is it the loading he can't do, or the travelling?
Remember, your horse has a right to say no if he is suffering from any of the above things.
The key to success is de-stress, Teach to lead, teach to load, steps 1, 2 and 3.
So, when considering buying a vehicle for your horse, don't buy the cheapest thing on the market like this. Go for something a lot sturdier. We're going to have a look at the ramp. Come down, give it a good prod around, get your screwdriver underneath the slats and see what you've got. This is not safe for your horse. Then have a look at the sides, give them a good bang, see what they sound like. Do they sound solid? And I'm going to take you over the other side now to show you a couple of really good holes. Starting off with just a little hole, but big enough to put a screwdriver through, and coming back to a hole that my whole hand can get in. This is not strong enough for your horse. Going from the sides down to the wheels, and we've got the bolts. They're rusted on. This is not going to be good for you because if you look at the tyres, you're going to have to get those off very quickly because these are actually rotten right through. This is not a good wheel for towing your horse. We're going to go around the front now to show something really good. Have a look at this. Lovely big hole, big enough for my foot and certainly big enough for your horses. So all in all, a trailer that really does you no service. Let's go and have a look at a trailer that really will be suitable for your horse. This is an example of a good modern trailer. The ramp, non-slip, much easier for the horse to actually walk on. Just have a little walk on it and it's not wobbly, so it's going to take his weight. And before he comes onto the ramp, just have a look at this gap because some horses do not like the gap. So if there's a huge gap, you need to fill it in with some sand or some hay. Then he's going to come on much better. We'll go inside now, and as you can see, this is hugely different from the other trailer. It's big, it's white, it's light, it's airy, and this is going to make it a lot better for your horse. The other thing to consider when looking at a new trailer to buy is the actual partition, which is open here. This has got a little bit of rubber at the bottom, absolutely brilliant for when the horse needs to step and adjust his weight when he's going around corners. What you don't want is a partition that goes from top to bottom and is made of wood. Okay, we're going to just close this. The other great thing about this trailer is that we've got a good selection of breech bars, one for the smaller horse and one for the bigger horse. Let's go duck under here and take you down again to the floor. Good rubber matting, non-slip, and make sure there's no bedding on the floor because unless that bedding's wetted, it's going to be very slippery and it's actually just going to slip on the rubber. So these are a few points that you really need to look at when you're buying a trailer for your horse. Now obviously, it's not just the trailer this all applies to, it applies to the horse box as well. So think safety. It's your life, it's your horse's life.
So we've looked at the trailer and box from the horse's point of view. Let's now hear from the authorities regarding the transportation of horses.
The horse owners who transport their horses by trailers can certainly help themselves by preparing their trailers after a winter's layup, checking the tyres, the brakes, wheel bearings, generally having the vehicle serviced before they start transporting it, making sure that the horse box and the vehicle are suited for each other, and obeying the speed limits. Not many people realise it's 60 miles an hour on the motorways and dual carriageways, 50 miles an hour on all other roads, and they're not allowed to use the outside lane on the motorway.
Now, nobody wants to see people towing things overweight. What are the real dangers?
Well, the dangers are your safety as the driver, the animals that are in the vehicle safety. There's a good chance that an accident will occur, and the public safety. If you go off the road, you're going to injure somebody else as well.
Now, in the RAC's experience, what sort of vehicle should you be using to tow another vehicle?
The vehicle that's capable of towing that particular trailer obviously a reasonable size 4x4 for a horse box trailer, but please consult your handbook for your towing weights.
Is it a regular problem that people do not consult their towing weights?
Yes, they do. They don't recognise. They think that because they've got a 4x4, it'll handle any trailer. So they must consult their handbook. The result could be an accident because they've overusing the brakes, and the brakes fail on the towing vehicle.
The kind of signs that we'd look for if a horse trailer was being towed overweight is the compression of the tyres, if they're excessively compressed, the tow bar if it's dipping down towards the road, lightness of steering on the vehicle. You can observe the driver and see if the front of the towing vehicle is actually tipped upwards, and that's the type of thing we'd be looking for.
If you are towing a trailer that is not suitable for the vehicle, the result could be that your brakes will work harder than they need to be and sometimes become ineffective, especially when going down a hill.
Horse box, obviously a different type of vehicle. What sort of things do you notice there?
With a horse box, again, we'd be looking at tyre compression. We'd also, as you drive past them, you can see the springs, and you're looking at being deformation of the springs where they're bent the wrong way with excess weight pressing them down. And on that one, we'd also be looking at driver effort, how hard the driver's having to work to turn the steering on a vehicle, because excessive weight increases the steering weight.
So that's what the authorities say about horse transportation. Let's now look at it from the horse's point of view.
As mentioned before, stress plays a large part in the loading process. 89% of people who say their horses don't load often attribute it to being stubborn. But in my experience of loading horses, 99.9% of horses don't load through fear. We don't necessarily know what it is of, but they're fearful. Horses react to fear in 4 main ways. See which category yours falls into. He may flee and be called flighty. He may fight and be called aggressive. He may even freeze and be called stubborn. Or he may faint, which means collapse down onto the ground and be called stupid.
So how can we start to change the situation around? Most behaviour problems stem from the stress of pain, fear or confusion. Therefore, your first task is to lower stress levels, however they may be caused. Having checked for and resolved any pain issues, you can then go on to step 1 and practice these for at least 1 full week. By teaching your horse to lower his head a little below the withers, you are able to influence his heart rate. It will begin to slow down, bringing him out of flight mode and enabling him to focus and learn.
Okay, we're going to do some de-stressing for Jack, and the first thing I'm going to do is just show you how you can ask him to get his head down. All right, because this is going to be quite important when we get to the lorry. And all you're going to do is hold the lead rope, a little bit of pressure, not too much on top, and just say the words head down, and a little pressure, head down, head, good boy. And did you see the way he released his head at the pole? And again, Jack, head, good boy. And they can learn it so quickly, it doesn't take an awful lot to do. And again, Jack, head down, good boy. And that was really minimal pressure. Quick learner, aren't you? And head down, and we're walking off. Okay.
The ears house many acupressure points, the tip of which is an anti-stress point. By rubbing this tip, you will find that you'll be able to calm your horse and relieve his anxiety.
And we're going to work the ears now. And while his head's nice and low, we're just going to massage the base of the ears, and this is going to calm him down, give him something nice as a reward for, again, when we're on the lorry. So running your arm up the flute of the ear, and then just rubbing the tip of the ear. And to start with, you want to be about 5 minutes per day per ear. And this will really help not only to calm him down now, but when we actually get with the lorry, when he's on the ramp, we can actually use it to calm him while he's up there.
The gums also house acupressure points and are linked to the limbic system of the brain, which is responsible for emotions and learning. By stimulating this, you will also be able to calm your horse, making him feel more relaxed and in control. Start by wetting your finger. Play with his muzzle to let him know where your intentions lie, and then slip your index finger under his top lip and rub gently but firmly from side to side on top of his gums.
Good boy. And rub from side to side. Now you've got an acupressure point in there, all right? And this helps him to de-stress. It connects to the limbic system of the brain, so it really is a good point.
Next, take a long dressage stick and wipe it all over your horse's body, making sure that you bend it so that it doesn't tickle. This will help lower stress levels, connect your horse to his body, and help focus his mind. This means that he does not lead properly. A lot of issues stem from the horse never having been taught to lead. From birth, most foals follow their dam, then are led alongside them, and once they are weaned, are encouraged from field to stable and vice versa by the prospect of food, be it the lure of fresh grass or a bowl of supposedly yummy hard feed. I really do not want to go into ways of loading horses by inflicting cruelty, but I have seen beating, prodding, pulling with the aid of a tractor and a rope through the front of the vehicle, and I am sure each and every one of you has your own experience of things you have seen. But by the very fact that you have acquired this video shows that you don't want to go down this ineffective and barbaric route. Let's now show you how to teach your horse to lead. We will use a method called pressure and release, which involves the horse creating pressure on the head collar by not moving with the handler, and then exploring ways to release this pressure. He is then required to think for himself, and thus the lesson is more easily learnt. This will eventually mean that when your horse feels pressure via the head collar, he will step forwards to make himself comfortable and thus release the pressure. A horse will always find the path of least resistance in order to create a comfortable life for himself and to conserve energy. He is a past master of small adaptations in order to achieve this. This system will work regardless of the type of head collar used. It is the hands and the system that create the effect. Each horse should be travelled in his normal head collar.
Okay, Anna, we've worked with de-stressing him. Second phase of this is teaching him to lead. So many horses don't actually know how to lead or what the owner is asking. So I'm going to work with Nickel using a pressure release system, and I'll try and talk you through it as we go. But to start with, to make things a lot safer for everybody, we're going to use a long line. Okay, and I've just got a nice long piece of rope that I'm going to attach to the head collar and take yours off. This way I stay safe, he stays safe, and nobody needs to panic. So if you want to just step to the side and we'll see how he works. Good boy, and hold. Very good boy. So basically what I want him to do is to pay attention to me. Good boy. Where my body is, and I want his head looking at me all the time. This is really nice. Good boy. Better. But at the moment what he's doing is he's looking elsewhere. He's not concentrating on me. So we're just going to work with the pressure and the release. So the idea is, when I want him to move forward, I put a little bit of pressure on the line and create a little bit of tension on the head collar. And he comes forward. He's very good actually, good boy. That's better. Now he's not running me over. Good lad. But again, his attention is elsewhere. Good lad. Pressure on, and he takes the pressure off by moving towards me. Good boy. As the leader of your horse, you have got to be the most important thing in his life at the minute. And as you can see by his eye and where he's looking, I'm not at the moment, although he is doing what I ask, which is nice. Pressure on, he releases the pressure and comes forward and stops. Is this how he normally stops, as close as this to you? Yeah, it's a little bit too close for my liking. He's a big horse and he knows where he needs to stand. Good boy. Good boy. Pressure on, pressure released, and he's stopping better too. Good lad. Now, one of the issues that happens with horses that are big, that do push you around, and often that don't load, is they find it quite hard to back up. And you can see he really doesn't want to. And what we need to do is make him back with the lightest of pressures that we can. So what we're going to do is hold close to the head collar, and we're just going to flutter our fingers on the chest. Back. Good boy. And reward for the smallest movement, even just for the thinking of it, is good. If you notice, he's now licking and chewing, which means that he's not that comfortable with what he's just done. Back. Good boy. And forward. Lovely. Ooh. Boy. So back. And we're just going to flutter our hands on his chest and pull towards his neck and release. Towards his neck and release. Neck and release. Very good boy. That was nice. Back. 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 So when he moves back, the pressure comes off. And then you give him a nice reward. Okay, come on. Okay, asking him for back again. Pressure on the head collar, fluttering on the chest, and you have to walk yourself forward a little bit so that he knows which direction you want to go in. Good boy. Back. That's it. Good boy. And there I rewarded just for his movement, his body movement back. Good. Back. Good. Well done. And with introducing back into your training, he actually doesn't come in so close. So now he's beginning to pay a little more attention, keeping his head towards me, and back, back. Good lad. And again. Well done. Good boy. Well done. Now all of this, and this is why the training sessions are so important, is that you can do it without getting yourself all stressed and your heart rate up. Keep your heart rate down and treat it just as a schooling session that you would do when you're riding. Back. Good boy, that's better. Back, back, that's better. Good, so I was quite tough on the last time I asked him to go back because I want him to go back with no fuss at all and without having to do an awful lot. Good boy, that was lovely. Because for him it's exhausting to resist, and what horses don't want to do is use up a lot of energy. All right, back, that's better, good boy. Back, back, very nice. Now look where his eyes are. His eyes are more with me now instead of staring over to the boy. Back, back, back. There's the try. The body moved backwards. Good boy. Back. Yes, go on. That was lovely. Good lad. Back. Back. Yep. And this is quite light now. There's hardly any pressure on. Very good boy. And just stand and let him just have a little think about it. Good boy. But I think now even you can see the difference in his body and how he's listening and he's aware of me, although he's looking and listening out into the distance. Good boy. That's lovely, lad. Pressure on. Good boy. Immediate reward. Nice distance. Yeah, I feel much more comfortable here and I'm sure he does. Okay, back, 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 back. No hands, back. Well done. Good.
Now, in order to get your commands perfect and your horse really hanging on your every word, I'm going to show you how to rock and roll.
So going backwards for 4 steps and 1, 2, 3, 4, forward for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 and back for 3, 1, 2, 3 and forward for 3, 1, 2, 3, back for 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 and back for 1 and forward for 1. Good boy.
Once you have done all this training carefully, look how much fun you can have with your horse.
Back, back, back. Well done. That was fun, wasn't it? Super. Okay. All right, Anna, what we're going to do is we're going to work with Nickel and concentrate on balance so that when he's actually going up ramps, coming down them and travelling, he feels a lot better in himself. And to start with, we're going to take just a normal stick, dressage stick, and wipe it over him and down his legs. So all we're doing is giving him more awareness of his legs and his feet, and this is going to help.
If your horse has leading problems, it may be due to bad balance. Balance is often an issue for horses, and it can be their inability to balance while travelling that leads to anxiety regarding loading. I often hear the comment that someone's horse is a devil to load, but once he is travelling he's fine, he stands perfectly still. This could in fact be because he is too frightened to move. Once he is in, he freezes. A horse will quite naturally move his weight and change the spacing of his feet as the vehicle negotiates the bends and bumps of the road.
Okay, now what we're going to do is work with his shoulder muscles and the muscles that are in his back end by leg rotations. So we're just going to ask him to pick his foot up. Nickel, up. Good boy. You're going to keep your feet at 45 degrees to him. Support the fetlock with your right hand or your inside hand and the hoof with the outside hand. And the really important thing here is to keep your outside elbow on your knee so that your back's not going to hurt. And then by rotating your ankles, you will find that you rotate your horse's hoof, leg, up to the shoulders, and even if you have a look along the back line, you might see some movement going up there. Very subtle, very small. Shake it down and place the foot down. Okay, exactly the same. Supporting your elbow on your knee, circling left, right, and a figure of 8. Making sure the foot's actually underneath the pelvis. Good boy.
Be mindful that some horses will find balancing through this movement very difficult. Some horses may also find it too uncomfortable or painful to allow the rotation. My advice is to acknowledge the difficulty, try a very small movement and then leave it until another day.
Then with your hands, you're just going to come down by the side of him and wipe all the way down to the floor and come off the hoof onto the ground. When you get to the joints, we're just going to do like a figure of 8 rub, both on the outside and on the inside, and that way we're going to stimulate the circulation and get his awareness down to these joints, which is going to be important. Good lad. Ending, holding the hoof and the ground, and then coming off. Brushing down the back leg with your hands. Over the joints. And ending, holding the hoof in contact with the ground. And you could do the labyrinth either way. Coming in and stopping on the long side, and you can actually be on the other side of the pole. Horse has to stop before the pole. Slowly round the corner, stopping again on the long side. Nice reward, and then let him walk around. Very good boy. Very good boy. And then we'll go around the other way. No hands. So now he's stopping off my body, keeping a good distance away, and he's actually looking for direction from me, which is exactly what we want when we try loading him in the trailer. Good boy. Pressure on. Good boy. Well done. It's a good boy. Pressure on. Keep the pressure on. Let him make his own mind up. Good boy. So a step forward is really good, even though it's not on the bridge. You need to get just the right amount of pressure. Too much and he'll lift up and go backwards. Good boy. And horses often don't want to go straight forward, so slightly to the side. And at the minute what he's doing is just trying to work out how much I weigh so that he can just pull me off balance when he needs to. Good boy. Okay. Good. There's the reward. The line's dropped, the foot's on. Good boy. Just stop and just let him think about it. Good boy.
You may find that he will want to sniff, lick, bite or paw the ground. This will allow him to determine whether it is safe for him, and you should allow and actively encourage this inspection. Once he has drawn his own conclusion, he will walk quite happily over it, stopping wherever you ask. Once your horse has achieved walking across the bridge, repeat the whole process lengthways. This time he will be able to stand with all 4 feet on the bridge.
Good boy.
Plastic is often an emotive medium. Some horses are very worried about it, others don't even look at it. Nevertheless, go through this procedure because if you miss it out, you can be sure that you will need to go back to do it at a later date. Lay out 2 tarpaulins, lay them in a V shape at least 4 foot apart at the narrow end. Make sure that you weight the plastic with bricks or poles if it is liable to move in the wind.
We're going to take it in 3 stages, which you need to practice. Coming in and just stopping just before the tarpaulin so he can have a look, see where he's going. Bringing him in between the 2 and stop. This way he can have a look at the plastic. It's either side of him. He's going to be using different eye vision to see the sides, and he's quite okay with that. Good boy. And asking him forward. Great. That's enough. Good boy. Whoa. Good lad. And round. Great. So do that until you know he's very comfortable and you're very comfortable going through it. And then the narrow end on which both of you are standing, just take it in about 4 inches each side. Good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to begin to close it in, because at the end of it I want him to be able to walk on it, okay? Good lad. Good. Good boy. Okay, so take him round, stop in front, in the middle and at the end. That's lovely. Yep. Good. Excellent. Good. Nice. If he wants to investigate it, he can do. That's lovely.
Take your horse through each width of gap many times before you make it narrower.
And see if you can tread on it as you come up. That's it. Good. Excellent. Yep, he's just investigating. Lovely, good boy. Just that much.
Gradually unfold one part of the plastic, giving your horse more and more to walk over, making sure that you don't stand directly in front of him.
Okay, a little bit wider now, okay? So see if you can sort of direct him over the widest bit. And if it's not a windy day, you don't need to have the bricks, but it's an idea so it doesn't turn up. That's lovely. And just walk. Just go. Just go. He's coming. That's it. Be confident. Yeah. It's okay, isn't it? And have a look at it.
Once the plastic is opened fully, approach it from the same direction as before. Then, as he gets more confident, ask him to walk over at different angles.
She says, let him have a look at it. Tell him it's okay. Be out in front as herd leader.
Note that Nickel refuses to walk the length of plastic but willingly turns to walk over the width.
So what I'm doing now is I'm beginning to shape the end result. I'm beginning to chunk it down so that he can cope with it. We were going to go for the long way, but he's still listening to you, the human, as the herd leader. Let's just put this brick on.
Remember, each horse is an individual, so take the time he needs in order to succeed.
And when the horse is about to learn something, stay out of his way. Don't nag. Just let him work it out.
Notice his whole body listening and waiting.
Little ask now. Good boy. Pressure on. He knows the system. Keep the pressure on. It doesn't have to be hard. Very good boy. Nice.
You will by now have spent at least 2 weeks preparing your horse for getting on your chosen vehicle. Now you need to take a little time in preparing the vehicle for a successful loading. It may sound daft, but it needs to be exactly right, or forget it. The trailer or box should be parked on soft grounds, not hard tarmac, concrete or stones. Stabilisers, if fitted, should be down. If using a trailer, it should remain attached to the vehicle. Line your trailer or box up beside a hedge or fence with as little gap as possible between the trailer and the side of the fence. Lower the ramp with approximately 2.5 horse lengths to a fence line which will be perpendicular to the first fence. This stops your horse running too far backwards should he be so inclined. If necessary, drape New Zealand or stable rugs over the fence, especially over the uprights or any protruding objects. This will ensure your horse's safety. Take out any partitions and make the trailer or box as light and airy as possible. Use about 5 bales of straw, which should be stacked too high on the open side of the ramp. This will channel your horse's attention up the ramp and not off to the side. Provide 4 brushing boots and overreach boots for safety.
Great, okay. There's a good boy. Now what I'm going to do is change ropes so that I've got a really nice long one, which means he can move back without pulling me off balance, okay? And Anna, if you could go and stand in the jockey door outside, that would be wonderful. Good boy. Now by making them back up, you actually make them start to think about what's going on. Normally, when you want to load a horse, and rightly so, you want the horse to go forward all the time, so this is where their thought pattern is. And now I'm backing him off, he's having to think about the whys and wherefores. Again, still using pressure release and the backing that I've already taught Nickel away from the trailer. We get quite a degree of response. He's a good boy. Now this is where he always sticks, so I'm not going to ask him for any more, I'm just going to let him think about it. And now I'm going to ask him to back off. Again, something very foreign for him. He's a good boy. Now you can see by the licking and chewing that he's anxious. He's holding his breath a little bit too and huffing and puffing, so we'll just let him relax a minute. A little bit of ear work and on we go again. 2 steps on, very good, a little bit more than before, but I'm going to say no, I want you to go backwards. Go on, back. Very good boy. All right. Now I'm just going to ask for another step, so I'm going to put the pressure on. All this is stuff he has already learnt. He understands pressure and release. And his body is just about going to come forward in a minute. And there it is. There's the release. Good boy. Here's a good boy. That was really cool, wasn't it? Hey? pressure on, pressure release as he comes forward. Pressure on. And we'll just wait. He's now feeling a little bit uncomfortable, so he's going to work out how he can get rid of this uncomfortable feeling. And we might see that he'll lift his head, drop his head, take it left, take it right, just to try and get away from this pressure. Good boy. Well done. And back we go again. Big step, good boy. Well done. This time I'm going to let him just have a think about that, because what he did was implement the training we've done. Good boy. Stand there.
It is important to give your horse time out when training. This gives him an opportunity to assimilate what has been going on and allows time for heart rate to return to normal.
Good boy. Pressure on. Good. He did that himself. I barely did anything. So what's his reward? It's to get back off again. Good lad. And I'm going to bring him round and let him really have a little rest and a think.
An important part of the training is for the horse's attention to be forwards at all times. This therefore means that no one should stand behind the horse for any reason, certainly no misguided encouragement like lines or sticks.
If you put too much pressure on, the horse will run back into the head collar and pull back. Good boy. You only do as much pressure as resistance that you're getting. Very good. And I'm getting barely any resistance now. He's been really good on these first few steps. Good. Now I've been up to here before, so now I'm going to see if I can get just a little bit more with him. And this can take any time at all. Good boy. And we're going to ask him to go back. And basically, if you take the time that it takes to get this done, it'll take you in the long run no time at all. But if you begin to actually put time restraints on yourselves, like there's a show or you've got to get out for something, you'll find that you'll rush it, you'll forget the steps, and it won't work. Good boy. So pressure on, he releases it, pressure off. Now, we've got front feet in, back feet on the ramp, that's fantastic. But no, I'm not going to ask him to go straight in, we're going to back off and do it again. Back. Good boy. Take it steady, that's it. Now all the practice that we have done with the poles, with the bridge, is all for walking on the bridge and standing on it with no problem. That was great. One more step because we've been here before. Good boy. All right, and that was a big step to get over that gap, and he's going to have a look out, and that's fine. Just make sure that your head collars don't get caught on anything. Okay, can you do that again? Good. Not too sticky that time, just a little bit. Now the little fluttering again to ask him to move back. Good lad. Just be aware of where his back feet are. You may need to angle his head if he looks as though he's going to come off the side of the ramp. Well done, sweetheart.
When backing your horse off the ramp, try to keep him in the middle of it and straight. If he favours one side and goes crooked, turn his head in that direction. This will swing his back end over and straighten him up. So in the case of Nickel, he likes to stand on the left side of the ramp. Turn his head to the left and his hind quarters will move to the right.
Stop him on the ramp again and really just mix and match and make him begin to have to listen to you. Because there may be occasions you do want him to back off a ramp when he's only halfway up. Good lad, good lad. Good boy. He's done that 3 times, he's had an eat of that. Each time I've corrected him, that time was the harder one. And look how much more responsive he's suddenly got to me. Back. Good boy. Back. Now we've done it like that, we're going to go in and out 20 times. That's it, push his head round, that's lovely. Look to the back of the trailer. Superb. Good.
After loading successfully 20 times, give your horse a break. Put him out for the rest of the day. He's worked hard and so have you. Let's now watch the whole procedure with Jack loading into his box.
Okay, now if your horse is showing anxiety just by seeing the box, which Jack is, you'll actually want to work him exactly the same forward and backward movements around the box and in front of the ramp until he has calmed down a little bit. So exactly the same, pressure release, fluttering backwards, good boy. Good lad. Now the one difference between boxes and trailers is that boxes generally have a much steeper ramp, and you therefore obviously end up quite a lot taller than the horses, and sometimes this is what they don't like. And as we work through with Jack, we'll see some ways that we might be able to help him with that problem. Okay, there's the pressure. He's got to work out how to release it. And it doesn't take them long to realise it's coming forward. Good boy. That's lovely. 1 foot on. Let him explore it. Might want to put a nose down. Good boy. And then back him off. So by crouching down, we're actually not quite so tall as he is. Now at the minute what he's doing is he's just trying to see how much pull he needs to give, good boy, to actually move me. That was lovely. Very good boy. I'm just going to, that's it. It's all right. Good boy. And you're going to stand on that? Excellent. Good. I know, you're doing really well. Back we go. little bit of pressure on, release as the step comes on. Good. So he put the foot back down again. I gave him the reward. Now he's moved back and created his own pressure, and then he's come forward and released it. That's good. Now all I'm doing now is just getting him to move across the ramp, nothing difficult, just a sideways movement to get him used to being on the ramp. He's pulling off it, I haven't asked, and he comes forward. Pressure, good, and release. So as long as he's coming forward, there is no pressure on the head collar. As he moves back, he creates his own pressure. Good boy. That's a very good boy. And although he stepped forward because he wanted to. I want this forward step because I want to, in order to give him a better command for a longer term period. That's very good. Good boy. And to reinforce that, we're going to ask him to step off it again. Good lad. Oopsie. Good boy. Easy. Pressure on. And because of the work we've already done with Jack, we're needing relatively little pressure. So we've been middle of ramp before, we need a next step now. Taking his head over to the side will encourage another step, whether it's sideways, and hopefully it will then be forwards. That's good. I'm going to ask him to go back down, just the same as the trailer. He's been on the ramp, he's been on the bridge, he's done the rocking bridge. Good boy. Well done. Good boy. Offloading forwards, allow the horse to put his head wherever he wants. Give him enough rope. There is no right or wrong way. The horse knows which is the right way for him or her. Pressure on, pressure release.
Repeat this loading training for the next week and then introduce the partition. Gradually accustom your horse to the partition, breast and breech bars. Take it slowly, step by step. Listen to your horse and you can't go far wrong.
Paying attention to his body language, his ears and his eyes, they're telling you what he's thinking, how he's feeling. Super. Please? Good.
You have now seen each stage of the loading process. Make sure you follow each step 1, 2 and 3. Take the time your horse needs for each stage. Don't hurry, and then you too will have a horse that loads easily time and time again. Let's talk to Julie with her daughter's pony Smarty.
Since we've last met you, we've been to lots of pony club rallies and quite a few local shows.
Great. And what was the issue that you had with Smarty?
Well, he would load okay, but then once we started moving the trailer, he'd throw himself against the side of the trailer and get in a real muck sweat.
And can you remember some of the things that I got you to do to help him?
Yes, we had to do leg rotations,
Right.
and T-touches, and tickle his tongue, rub his ears and his nose, and pull his tail.
Great. And did it help?
It did, yes. It helped. It started almost immediately. He was much calmer, generally, and much friendlier towards us.
The other thing that we did look at was your trailer to see if there was anything there that was creating an issue for him. Can you just tell me what we did and what we found?
Well, since we met you, we've had the ramp redone. I think one of the panels inside was loose, and we've also taken out the partition and changed the breast bar. We've put in. I got a chain and a large piece of metal pipe and fixed that to the original fixings with some bolts.
In order to make the breast bar more horse-friendly, try wrapping the cold metal in a towel or pipe lagging. We will now give you a quick resume in a step-by-step guide.
Remember, each horse is an individual and as such reacts differently to every situation. Have fun teaching him to load, enjoy your new horsemanship skills, and remember, you can do it.